a tough one because sometimes innovation from a product development standpoint and manufacturing technology standpoint is way far ahead compared to what some of the quality system requirements, whether the regulations or the standards are in place for. So the best way we try to balance both is both in hiring folks that have diverse backgrounds, that have worked with manufacturers before, understand the pace of it, understand the depth and the requirements from a compliance standpoint of it, and they can bring those best practices from those other companies or just kind of tap into both of those pieces to come up with those best solutions. So there's kind of the hands-on practical application of it. The other side of it is trying to stay on top of all of the publications that are coming out and that industry information. I'm sure FDA is publishing guidelines all the time. We know EUMDR is going through its own balance. Maybe that's not practice, but it is what it is. But there's certainly a lot of different publications and information that we can use to understand, okay, the market is looking to go this way, and this is how they're going to apply some things. How can we take our practical application and experiences and try to mold that in the direction to move us forward as we're working and partnering with other clients with what their desires are as well. Things I firmly believe when it comes to quality is the foundation of quality is process improvement. So I think it's possible to fulfill the needs of patient safety and ensuring that the safest product is on the market while also understanding the industry and processes are changing so fast. We have to improve. We can't get stagnant. There's sometimes this like black, white legacy mindset with quality that brings this whole check the box sort of approach and, quality's making me do this. I hate it. But that's not fundamentally what I believe about quality. And I try really hard to have my team demonstrate that as well, because it's really the root of quality is all around process improvement and continuous improvement efforts. So this one is such a hot button topic lately, and it's kind of interesting because I have kind of two answers for you. So one is from the legacy of network partners and how we were founded and everything. Our company is a professional services company. We actually started as a remote company back in 2016, 2017 timeframe. And what's just interesting about that is one of the core foundational elements from a senior professional that works within network partners is most of our consultants are remote. Now, we do have a site-based location, and we are addressing some of the in-person requirements for some of our functional partners that way. And I can touch on that in a minute. But when it comes to some of the challenges we see with our clients, this one is an interesting one, especially coming out of post-COVID, because yes, we had remote opportunities in the past. And yes, we had that opportunity for work from home. But I think the element of working from home and understanding a person's personal requirements and how that has evolved since being impacted by a pandemic like COVID, plus realizing there is no doubt that in-person connections are really valuable. You learn so much more than you can get from just, interfacing on a camera, talking on the phone. There's this whole context of physical body language that we're missing in some ways. However, it seems post-pandemic, it seems the general trend is when you're coming back in the office, people are sitting in their offices still attending Zoom calls. Well, that's not valuable either. So I really think that there should be a sweet spot sort of balance. So from a seasoned professional standpoint, I would love to get to a place where I could do some sort of hybrid in-person thing. I love going on site to my clients. I love engaging in-person events with my team, but I do get so much more done in a remote capacity where I can control my schedule and not someone popping into my office. Oh, hey, just saying hi. Oh, hey, just saying hi. Oh, hey, we need to pull you aside. It's a bit of a mindset aspect of it. However, with younger professionals, I stand a little bit more firmly in, as you are starting your career, you really need to understand the business you're in, the functions that you're working with, and everything like that. So one thing that Network Partners has, we have a leadership program, one for quality, one for regulatory, and one for packaging. And this is a program that's geared towards hiring green talent. So recent graduates from college and universities, whether it's bachelor's or master's, we provide them in-person sort of training for almost like a 3-month boot camp. And then we place them with clients, ideally partnered up with a seasoned professional, but it's on site and you can feel the vibe of the client sites and engage with the people and their, the cultural differences and everything like that. I stand firmly from a young professional standpoint because in my mind, I see I reflect back on my early career and I see that point of my journey as being imprinted, right? You're almost setting the bar for the rest of your career as far as what to expect based on that first experience. I think if you want to be a strong quality professional, you have to have a mix of understanding what is the product I'm supporting, even if I'm in a quality systems role. I need to understand at the end of the day that this company I'm working for is outputting a product to serve a patient need and improve their life to some extent. We can't really do that behind a computer very effectively. So I do think going on site and getting closer to the product can help with that. And then we can talk a little bit more about understanding how to better manage time with remote work versus in person. So my answer is kind of a long, convoluted one that I like to use a lot with quality is the answer is it depends, right? It's going to depend on the level of expertise that someone has and they understand who do I need to reach out and talk to? Who do I need to get in front of? Who do I need to call up? You're going to be okay in a remote environment. But if you don't know any of those key players and you don't understand how a medical device company or pharmaceutical company operates, you're really putting yourself at a disadvantage being really early in your career by not getting in person and meeting those different types of people and different types of functions. That's always a great question. So with network partners, we actually have a business that is our talent business. They refer to them as Indeo, and that arm of our business, because we're under kind of our same parent company, we're allowed to build trust in a different way that I can lean on them and know that they're going to find me some of that right talent. However, in talent recruitment, you're still then missing kind of that sanity check on the technical skills, right? There's a big difference between having that screening of tell me if you've had CAPA or quality system experience versus okay, but what did you actually do in that process to help close it and make improvements and everything like that? So that next arm of it is then I do have folks on my team that I trust their technical, full transparency, their BS meter, right? I want to make sure that you get a sense being in the industry for a while when you're talking to people, you can kind of understand those that are kind of putting on a nice show and those that really understand what it is, the principles of what you're trying to advocate for yourself for. So I have a couple folks that I specifically asked to do my technical screenings because they both have experiences in different areas. So I might have one person go do, hey, I'm looking to hire someone who I need to do from a new product introduction sort of aspect. You've got the design controls background. I want you to really vet out their experience. The other person's a little bit more from a quality system standpoint of it. So extending the trust, not just to my hiring partner, as far as a talent identification standpoint, but also having the trust in my team that they're going to be able to help. So it's not just Marnie's idea of the right person on the team. It's recognizing we're trying to build a foundation on the team that's going to reinforce how strong the team is. I have a voice. I have the overarching decision for it, but I need my senior leaders and my team to be able to voice that so we can figure out as a whole that that organism of the quality team for network partners is going where we need it to go. This is one of my favorite questions only because I'm still new to this space and I'm in that middle of that like light bulb moment of, oh, wow, I didn't know that before kind of aspect of it. So when it comes to consulting, you have to remember that we're not just competing against other consulting agencies. We're also competing against contractors and staffing. And I can tell you in my last job, when I was on the other side of the table trying to figure out what type of temporary talent to bring in, the mindset that I have had and the mindset that I've seen at my clients that I'm looking at and trying to find prospective business with even now, the seat you're in at a company when you are drowning and need help, you don't really get a chance to understand the nuance of what a consultant can bring versus a warm body in a seat like a contractor can bring. It's not to say contracting is bad. It's not. There is a time and a place where you need to do that. But I think what is important to recognize in those relationships with those types of functions is knowing that when you're bringing in a consultant, you're bringing in expertise and strategic thinking in a way that's going to supplement your business. While a contractor, with the consulting piece too, it's also that self-managing piece. Like when you have a client bringing on a consultant, they don't need to sit down and provide coaching and things like that. It's really having that foundation of trust in your consultant to let them go do that. Versus from a contracting standpoint, it's a little bit more of, it's on me as the hiring manager to teach them everything. And I have to figure out how to convey the important details for this project. And they might have some expertise that's going to help us along, but there's a lot more work with that. Framing it through the lens of understanding, when I'm coming to prospective clients and I want to work with you, and how can I get them to come to me, and how can I demonstrate that competitive edge? It's understanding where they're coming from. And it's also helping them understand that sometimes their need that they think they have isn't the actual, let's use quality speak for a minute, isn't the actual root cause of the need that they want. So how do we do that? So first, many consulting agencies, there's very large, very strong, big firms out there that just do the strategy and the planning and the gap assessing, right? They might go, this is wrong, this is wrong, this is wrong, this is wrong, which is valuable. You do need that, but then you're kind of at a loss of what do we do with that? So what I encourage my team to do, and when I have these conversations with prospective clients and existing clients too, we try to identify that we do a mix of both. You don't always need someone to tell you everything that's wrong at your company. You need someone to tell you, how are we going to fix it and make it better? Our team covers both. So there's the mindset aspect of it, but then there's also building on that trust element that we were just talking about from a team talent acquisition and hiring perspective. You need to establish a foundation of trust with the relationship with the prospective client very early on. And the way I do that, and the way my commercial partner does that, which I believe you interviewed as well, Kellen Giroux, is we lean on our personal experiences within quality to kind of talk shop, is what I like to refer to it as. So having been in the client's shoes before, when I would have these calls, I remember feeling like, just send me the brochure. Just send me the pitch. How much does it cost? That's not what we need to sell, right? We want to make sure that we can help sell the solutions. And that's what Network Partners brings to the table, is we can partner with you to give you a custom solution to figure out your site, your company's issues. And the way that can come about is a bit of that thought partnership as we're first establishing that relationship, giving that foundation of trust of, hey, listen, when I was in the director of quality engineering role at this other company, I faced this problem. Do you see that? And then the client being like, oh, I do have that problem. It sets a tone for a different type of conversation than just sitting in and saying, hey, client, what do you need me to do for you? Well, Network Partners, I need 2 bodies. How much is that going to cost? That's not going to be the most effective for a client. What's going to be the most effective is being able to help come up with and sell and put in place an actual solution that works for them, not just throwing bodies at the fire. So how do we have another sister business that's called FlexPro that drives the pharmaceutical piece of it. So I have a very close working partner there, Melissa Stefko, who I could refer the pharmaceutical specific things to. However, there's differences and similarities, right? Both of the med device and pharma requirements have some core quality system foundations that are important. Training, CAPA, investigations, deviations, nonconformances, all those things. There's some level of equivalence. So at least you have a similar kind of like language in between those pieces. The fun also comes into play when we're talking about combination products or drug delivery systems, right? So the way we take the lead on that is whatever is the leading issue, right? So we might have a company that's a pharmaceutical company is saying, hey, we're developing a new product that's going to be a combination product, but everything's going to go through the pharmaceutical pathway, and we're going to do an NDA and everything like that. That would be more pharmaceutical leading, right? Maybe our FlexPro brand of the business is going to lead it, but we're going to bring in a network partner med device expert to help support it, because we know there's some key elements from a combination product standpoint that they need to keep an eye in front of when it comes to product development. Design controls, for example. No design controls necessarily on pharmaceutical, although it's covered in a different angle. There are some core elements we need to have. Now let's talk about remediation. And I might have a pharmaceutical company come to us and say, hey, we just realized we're a combination product. We've never done that before, and we think our device is class 2. What do we do? Well, now the issue is medical device leading. So the network partners is going to come in and we're going to be able to lead that, but we still have a chance to dip into that pharmaceutical background if we need it. So it comes to an advantage in two ways. One, with even though these are two different branded companies, we're still one company. And I can lean on, we call it our knowledge bench. Our knowledge bench is anyone within the company that has any sort of expertise. So if you get one of us, you get all of us. So I may not have the specific answer to answer your pharmaceutical question, but I know a team of 15 people that I could lean on to do that.